Do you feel the vibes?
Hey YouTube, welcome back to Wolf of Crypto. So I'm just going to do a Ripple price analysis. I did one in my last video, but I was in work rushing about. I've just watched over it. It just looks like a load of fucking shit. So I'm just going to put it to you a lot simpler. Exactly what we've been going through. Now I'm at home, I've got a bit more time obviously to go over it. So right, so first of all, what we'll do is we'll go into the short term of what's happening with Ripple here. Obviously we've had this impulsive wave. We look like we're going through a corrective wave at the moment here, from the impulsive wave which we've just had. So in respect to that, we could potentially be coming up having an A, B, C, D, E correction wave. So this will be classed as RA. This is our B, C. In fact, let's just draw it on there. It'd be a lot better to do. So the LA wave, triangle, correction wave. So yeah, obviously we've come up from the top, we've come down. So we've got our A wave, we've got our B, C, probably working towards our D, and then we're gonna go and probably come back down to test one more time, maybe for the E. In that respect, this is a very plausible, you know, very short term structure that we could possibly follow for the time being. I'm just going to go on the fib retracement level from like the initial impulse, of course, so we can just have that up there as well. So yeah, obviously as we said in the last video, we are keeping to the 0.82 fib retracement from the initial impulse, which is looking very bullish as well. We look like we've got the pennant formation that's under in respect of this structure. We could potentially see it touch the top and then obviously come back down. Usually in a pennant formation, the impulse would usually follow the direction of the overall run. So obviously, as you can see, we're in a bullish trend here, very bullish trend. Obviously the bottom could potentially have been called, yet we're not going to say that because anything can happen really. You know, we never know, it could possibly be a bear trap in that respect. But as we were saying before, if we can try and gauge an area of where we can come from the trend fib, if we come back down. Obviously, this is the part that I fucked up when I was in fucking work. It was fucking me head up for some reason. So this is what we've got. So usually, if we are going to be classing this as an Elliott wave impulsive move from the bottom overall picture, I mean, then realistic. This is something we probably will be looking at in that respect. Let's just get the impulsive wave up first, so we can just draw this here. So we would initially be having our sort of, this will be our first impulse, and then this will be the coming down, obviously the retracement from that, which will be wave 2. So usually what we say is it will usually be 2.6 times the length of this on wave 3, which obviously this is the area here which we're looking at. If you want to be very conservative, we'd usually lose this in Elliott wave. And personally, I mean, like I say, it all depends on what happens to Bitcoin over the next few days with Ripple. It's okay going on a Ripple chart doing this, but we could potentially come up, we could hit the 2.6, we could hit the 1.6, and then this would usually retrace 32%, and then that would usually be the same size as wave 1. I mean, that's your overall impulsive wave. Exactly where these are falling, we can't determine. It could shoot down, it could shoot up, and then come up straight away. It could take a couple of months, couple of weeks, but like I say, this is just with Elliott wave. So I think what we'll do is definitely regions to look forward to. If we do break this line of resistance, we could definitely call this area here as part of a target zone if you want to be conservative in that respect. I'll just change this to green because it looks absolutely stupid in red. Format. So yeah, so that would be our first target. That's a conservative target. If we are going to class this as a validated impulsive wave, which I do think it is, we've got a nice formation structure, the symmetrical triangle forming, which is looking like a very good. We should come into consolidation here. The volume, as you can see at the bottom, will start trickling and trickling and trickling until we get forced and compressed. This is definitely a good target zone. I mean, if we are feeling really bullish and Bitcoin starts doing some absolutely fucked up stuff like I've just done recently in respect to what a bounce, we could potentially end up here. I mean, in some extremes, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but they do actually use the 3.6 as well. But I think that's definitely bullish enough, to be fair. I think if not over bullish, I think we could be asking a lot from that personally. But no, I think overall it's looking good in that respect. I mean, obviously we could have this impulse and it could come here, and then we finish up, and then we could have a higher degree, obviously correction after that. But yeah, if we want to be really bullish, we're going to be looking up here. Personally, if I was trading this myself, I'd definitely be aiming for this region here. If I was going to go short term long on Bitcoin with a 32 retracement around there, and you could probably finish off your impulsive wave around here. Maybe that would obviously be second entry point that you probably want to be looking at. But I'm long on Ripple. To be fair, I'm not really one for day trading it. I'm not. But if we take away the extension and just come and look into this a little bit closer in respect to the 1 hour chart with Ripple, of what areas, it could start spooking people if you do see dramatic crashes coming down to the low side. But in that respect, we've got the 32, which is going to be one of our key support areas for the time being. Following by that failing, we'll probably drop down and then start testing the 50 mark. And then obviously finally we've got the 168, which I'm hoping we're not going to go into. But again, even if we did go into it from the impulsive move we got, it still really is a bullish sentiment if it can bounce back up towards the top side. I think that's what we're going to be playing out over the next sort of couple of days in that respect. I mean, if we can finish this triangle and really get in towards the apex, we're going to be looking at around the 22nd of this month. Again, it all depends on how the market moves, especially in respect of Bitcoin. But I reckon in respect of key supports where we're looking at the moment, it's definitely these down here. We're doing really well to keep to the 38 too. Like I say, if we can finish this impulsive wave now, if we do see sort of a small sell-off, not to worry about it. It's just a natural corrective wave that would be going underway. And I'd like to see we could possibly maybe break out here as a little bullwhip, and then probably bounce up towards this height up here. It could potentially be done. It depends how impulsive we move. We can always, like I say, gauge which direction we can think the market is going to move into. But in respect of obviously trying to gauge how far it can move is always difficult. But if we do follow the principal set of Fibonacci, we can use Elliott Wave to our advantage to try and gauge some sort of overall direction. This was the type of fucking technical analysis I wanted to offer you in my van. But I had the customer who was looking at me a little bit at the time, a bit funny. So I thought, fucking hell, and started rushing it, fucked my head up. So obviously I've just brought you this one. I mean, it'd be great if we could keep up with doing stuff like this all the time. It's definitely a good little, like I say, in respect to technical analysis, we can only try and help us move forwards into the future. We can't determine exactly what's going to happen. It's not guaranteed, but it's also nice to know, certain things are happening. People could see a sell-off coming towards down this price, back down to 50 cents and think it's all doom and gloom. But if you look at a high perspective, high time frame, it's actually, you usually would say in wave 1 would usually pull back to 50 to 61. So to keep on the 58 too is really, really bullish. I think it's definitely positive moving forwards. I'd like to say the bottom's been called. I've heard it a lot as well from other technical and fundamental analysis. I think the time is now. I think the time for institution money is going to come in. It's not all going to just flock in one pile. They're going to trickle the money in over time. They're going to do that dollar cost averaging. But yeah, I think it's going to be a good year. Obviously, really, in my other video, I always said about the 389 figure, which Bear guy's thrown out there. It'd be fucking lovely if that happened. Obviously, it's fucking a big ask. Big ask. But yeah, it was a good little chat about that, to be fair. Glad that I did that video. But yeah, I think realistically short term, let's keep it to an approach where we've got to be realistic and conservative. And I think this is a very conservative little play here for Ripple at the moment. Obviously, these bars can be way over in respect of hitting the targets through the wave. You usually try and find 3 impulsive waves. So you've got your 1, 2, 3, 4, and you've got your extended 5th, which usually you would expect to come further down, but it's not in this case. Again, suggesting very bullish movement for Ripple. It's looking good. Obviously, we're pets against Bitcoin, but we are doing some independent moves on our own in respect. We're gaining on Bitcoin is a good way of putting it. Obviously, if we go to a Ripple BTC chart, we will be gaining on Bitcoin as it stands at the moment. It's looking good. It's looking very positive. I think if we can finish out of here, I think we're definitely going to have the impulse to the outside. I really can't see us falling further low. But again, it could be a bear trap. It really could be a bear trap, this. Everyone's getting all high steam. Everyone's starting to get confident, putting a bit of money in, and bam, they just smash it back down. The markets are manipulated to fuck. Honest to God, they are manipulated out there. Fucking backs. It's not natural what's happening. It's been played down. The markets have been fucking pulled down purposely with fucking another larger agenda that's not even fucking known to people like me and you. Obviously that's going deep as fuck, so I'm going to shut up about that. But yeah, this is definitely, look, this is my play for XRP in the short term. Definitely in the short term. Obviously, I think we've got that nice little stable bottom. We've tested it a couple of times and we've had the reaction coming up to the upside. We've got a new support level around here. These are our 3 key supports, definitely. If we start breaking below there, I mean, it's not unknown to not go to 0.786. I know Bitcoin's been retracing to that from impulses as of late. That's a really natural comeback to there. But just with Ripple being up as high as it is here from the actual initial impulses, looking really bullish in that sentiment. I'd definitely be looking for this price, like 84 cents, definitely. I'd like to say over the next week or two. I think it's definitely easy. All we need is that little impulse, and I think through this correction wave, obviously this chart will probably be following slightly a little bit like Bitcoin. Not sure whether they're actually going through this symmetrical triangle phase, but I know XRP is. But yeah, definitely, it's definitely looking good. Obviously, we've got all the good fundamental stuff as well in the background going on with all the partnerships, and obviously we've got, I know, fucking hell, if MoneyGram and Western Union go live and they have to start buying chunks, and they actually want to buy it to hold it themselves because they see value in it in the long run, then, you know, we could fucking impulse out the fucking roof. It's fucking crypto at the end of the day. It's known for its volatility, and it's always going to stay that way. It'll have its ups and downs. It'll be at overbought prices. It'll be at undersold prices. It's just the way markets move, and obviously, looking forwards, we're definitely looking promising. Anyways, no two fucking ways about it. This is the fucking buy of the century in my eyes. You know, the chances like this come fucking once in a blue moon, once in a fucking blue moon, honestly. And it's definitely a great time to get in now. You know, it could go down, it could go up, but even at 67 cents, if you dollar cost, I mean, my dollar cost average is 36 cents. I got in at 20 cents and not long ago bought at 49. I do think the bottom has been called here. Got a 49, did very good. Waited for it, did very well. There's only these 2 occasions where I could have got in any low, so I was quite happy with that. Obviously, it could go on its ass and look like a fucking dick, but who knows? Who knows where we go in? But this is my take on it, and I hope this has been useful for you. Peace out.
Do you feel the